Should you be the promoter of this? Would you have liked to have been the promoter of this fight?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, it's a fantastic fight. Um, but I don't think that the reality is the promoter of this fight is Turki Al-Sheikh. It doesn't matter whenever there's a Riyadh season event or a Ring Magazine event, all the decisions are made from His Excellency. I've been involved, and you actually don't really get much of an opportunity to make any decisions because he makes them all for you. Everything down to the design of the promo, to the on-sale ticket dates, to the venue deal. I mean, they're financially bankrolling the event, so they're going to be making all the decisions. I think it's a good look to have Dana doing it. I mean, you're not really, you're a guest promoter. And that's really what a lot of us are when we do Riyadh season or Ring Magazine events. So should I be doing it? No, not really. I mean, look, I think Dana's got a much bigger profile than me in America, so I get the move. I wouldn't be able to do it anyway because I'm exclusive to DAZN. And obviously the fight's on Netflix. But no, I think it's a pretty cool move, really. I think it's good for boxing. I think... as I said to you before, Dana's making a move into boxing for a reason, right? And it's a dangerous move for his business and for the UFC business because really it could be taking a lot of the focus off. I mean, if you're really promoting this fight, it's a 24/7 job for 3 months. That's how I would be promoting this fight. Different cities every day. So it's difficult to be across the UFC business as well. So, but he's here for a reason. Boxing's red hot. I've said to you before, boxing, I think, what did I say? MMA was like a poor relative of boxing at the moment. That might have been a little bit harsh watching it back.
No,
but
it was good stuff.
we have to admit boxing's red hot at the moment. And this is a big fight. One of the biggest, certainly in America, for some time.
I know you're probably privy to a lot more than us here sitting at this desk, but what did you make of all the talk over the past month or so, Eddie? Because it did seem like there was an announcement that was coming, then it didn't come, and then the tweet about Sella promoting and not the UFC, and then the UFC changed their show from a pay-per-view to a fight night. Like, something seemed different from the original announcement. Could you tell us what you were hearing about the state of this relationship? Because as you know, the talk was like, oh, this thing isn't going to get off the ground.
Yeah, I think, I don't know really what happened, but one thing I'll tell you is His Excellency will do what he wants to do with the vision that he has without really taking much notice of the advice or the other people that are working on the shows. I've been around him for 2 years. So, he's going to be calling the shots and you either fall in line or you don't. And if you don't fall in line, you don't do the job and you don't work for him. I've said before that I don't agree with everything that His Excellency does, but he's got incredible vision, a huge bankroll and a big appetite for the sport. We don't agree on everything. And sometimes, we don't do a fight, but a lot of the times we do. And I guess this was just maybe one party wanted to do it one way and one party wanted to do it another way. And in time, they fell in line.
Eddie, you said boxing's growth in the last few years has been good. Obviously, Dana White now is part of that. Netflix is now part of that. Obviously, boxing's changed a lot in the last decade or so. DAZN coming on board. What do you make of Netflix now clearly showing that they are involved in the sport of boxing?
Again, Eddie, just, a great example of how powerful the sport is right now. You've got Dana White trying to get into the sport, TKO trying to get into the sport, Netflix trying to get into the space as well. And it can only be fantastic for all of us. I mean, we've seen the growth in interest, digital numbers, viewership, tickets since the explosion of Riyadh season and this big investment of the best fights getting made. I mean, you were there Saturday, Addy. There was like 18,000 at Ipswich on a random Saturday night for Fabio Wardley against Justice Huni. And the big fights just keep on coming, and I think boxing's in a tremendous place. And the more broadcasters, the better. But particularly a platform like Netflix as well. I think Netflix are going to be looking to do anywhere between 2 and 4 shows a year, probably. And they're going to make a big fuss. You've got Taylor Serrano coming up. You've got Canelo Crawford coming up. But I don't think they're going to be, we can't just rely on that kind of volume of shows. We need the pure, boxing fans platform like a DAZN that's going to consistently feed the audience with quality programming. But every now and again, if the reach of boxing can explode to that kind of level of numbers, that's going to help the whole ecosystem of boxing. It's going to get people more interested in the sport. That could be from a grassroots participation, that could be going to your local show, or that could be going to a big show at the O2 Arena, the Manchester Arena, whatever. So it's brilliant for the sport.
Based off that, could they contractually make a play for AJ Fury? Like, are there too many hoops for them to go through, or could they? Because they're only going to want the biggest and best fights, and I think AJ Fury is the biggest thing ever.
AJ is exclusive. AJ is exclusive to DAZN. So one thing that DAZN have shown in the past is I say the ability, but really it's more of a moral, common sense position of not denying fighters opportunities. That doesn't really apply to AJ because he's very happy on DAZN, and he did a great run of fights on DAZN. But Katie Taylor is a very good example. Katie Taylor has boxed pretty much her whole career in terms of her major fights on DAZN. And we did Taylor Serrano 1 on DAZN. MVP came along, gave us a fantastic offer to fight Taylor Serrano 2 on Netflix. I went to Ed McCarthy at DAZN, and I said, look, I know that Katie Taylor's a DAZN fighter, but Ed, in my opinion, this is a fantastic offer. And I don't think we should be denying a fighter an opportunity like this. And he said, okay, if that's what you think, we support Katie Taylor. That's very unusual for a broadcaster to do so. And again, the third fight comes around, they're paying her more than double what she got last time. And she's on there again, So, of course, the plan for DAZN is to keep all the big fights on their platform. And that includes Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua will return. I had a lengthy conversation with his team today. He's now back in the groove of starting to think about locking in a date in 2025. So October, November, December, that will be AJ's next fight. And, we look forward to a big end to the year. And look, we don't even know if the Fury fight's going to materialise. What we do know is that's the biggest fight in boxing. Forget Canelo Crawford. AJ Fury is the biggest fight in boxing, unquestionably. And he's in a good place. Had the surgery and motivated to return to camp.
Wanted to ask you one other question about Canelo Crawford, but since you've dropped this interesting nugget on us, could I ask, is there a front runner? I know you said recently you were thinking of Dillian White. He's now booked against Moses Itama. Is there a front runner?
Yeah, Dillian White was probably the front runner, to be honest with you. Now it looks like he's going to fight Moses, so that was a curveball. Jared Anderson's been mentioned. Obviously, Deontay Wilder's back soon. I think AJ would have been out of the ring just over a year by the time he steps back into the ring. He will be coming off surgery. I don't think it's going to be... I don't think Fury's going to be ready to fight around that time anyway, but I expect it to be someone that will gear him up for a really big fight in 2026. And probably 2026 will be his last year in the sport. I mean, you never know.
Wow.
But I think, you're thinking about it, Ariel, it's probably 3 fights away. And I think, for me, if I'm advising AJ, I like, we're back this year. We have 2 Tyson Fury fights. What else is there to do? Maybe fight a Daniel Dubois. But, I think that for me, once AJ fights Tyson Fury, he's kind of done it all. I'd love him to have another crack at Dubois. And I'd love him to have another crack at Usyk, but you just go on and on and on. Now, if we get to next year and he's still firing on all cylinders, then 2026 won't be his last year. But for me, something feels right about coming back this year, beating Tyson Fury twice, and then sailing off into the sunset, But who knows?
It would appear as though the next best thing, if Wilder wins on June 27th, would be that one. It's not quite the super fight, but it has been one that we've been talking about for so long. Don't tell Dave Allen this. I know he's been campaigning for it as well, but AJ versus Wilder is a big one.
Yeah, AJ Wilder's a massive fight as well. And I think because of the loss to Dubois, it makes the fight more palatable, especially if Wilder can come back with a good win. Dave Allen. Yeah, Dave Allen's funny.
Love this guy.
Dave Allen's. Honestly, he's becoming a real fan favourite. I mean, I said the other day, like, we're going to probably headline him in September, October in Sheffield. I think he'll sell the whole thing out. Honestly, there's like a massive love for this guy. And he's always been very good. But the lack of discipline and everything, like motivation and focus, and now he's kind of got it all going. And he's been through those guys, like Luis Ortiz, Dillian White, David Price. Like, he's fought a lot of these top guys, and now he's kind of learned how to deal with heavyweights, and he's actually a threat. Dave Allen, he's got a tremendous chin and he punches very hard. And if you do that in the division, you're always going to be a threat. So, yeah, who knows? We could see the White Rhino against Deontay Wilder, but he's definitely in the hat for AJ as well.
I do want to ask about the fight this weekend. I'm fascinated by George Gambosus. I mean, this guy's story is incredible. The record book say that he can, on his day, beat a lot of good people. But final one, I want to quickly circle back. Final one on Canelo Crawford. Do you see that as competitive? I mean, when it was first announced, who was you picking as favourite? Who have you got now?
Yeah, I mean...
Don't sit on the fence. Let's hear the pick. You're not tied to any of them. You could
be... But I'm very close to Canelo. Like, he messaged me the other day because he didn't like something that I said.
Uh-oh.
And I was talking to him about, but I'm always, like, I don't want to upset anyone, and that's never really been my style. So what I said was, when I was watching the William Skull fight live in the arena, I was thinking to myself, I actually wouldn't be that surprised if Canelo didn't fight again. I didn't think he looked motivated. I did, and we didn't have an argument, but he just said, I thought, what was it? I said, no, I was just being honest. Like, you didn't look motivated to me. Now, that's probably because it was William Skull and he was running around the ring, doing anything he could not to engage in a fight. That night made me really think about who is going to win this fight. Because, the thing is with Crawford, right? When you spend time around him, he is so confident. So confident. Like, he has no doubt in his mind that he's going to win this fight. And anyone that has movement is going to cause Canelo problems at this stage in his career. And first, when the fight was made, I thought that Canelo Alvarez would be a huge favourite in this fight because of the size. But I really see it as a 50-50 fight. Like, I honestly probably favouring Crawford.
Wow.
Because of what I saw.
Oh, you're going to get another Canelo text.
Yeah, no. But I want Canelo to win. Just want to put that out there as well. But I see it like, I'm talking like 55-45, but I would always pick Canelo, but I just being, leaving Times Square, I got on the plane with Crawford and we flew to I've spent a lot of time with him over the years, and he's a massive believer in himself, massive. And he's got a tremendous boxing IQ and he knows boxing inside out. And he's so convinced he wins this fight. And Canelo's got to switch up everything he's been doing in the last few fights. Like, a William Skull performance will not beat Terence Crawford. I don't think an Edgar Berlanga performance will beat Terence Crawford. I don't think a Jaime Munguia performance or a Charlo performance will beat Terence Crawford. So Canelo is going to have to produce a quality performance to beat him. And can he do that at this stage in his career? I do think that this is the kind of fight that's going to motivate Canelo, who's a true great, whose work ethic is second to none, to beat or to put in a great performance. Will it be enough? Just got a sneaky feeling for Terence Crawford.
Ooh.
Wow.
Imagine Terence becoming a 3-time undisputed freeweight champion.
You know what
That's crazy.
I said to Crawford on the plane, I said, you know what your problem is? We were half bantering, half. I said, you've never really beaten anyone in their real true prime. I said, who is your best win? What would you say is the best win of your career? And he said Ricky Burns.
Wow.
Right? Now Ricky Burns was my fighter.
Good shout.
That was a great win at the time. But with all due respect to Ricky, he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not, going to go down as he'll go down as an all-time great of Scottish boxing. But I said, and it's not your fault. I think you're so good and talented, but you've never actually been able to, like when you beat Errol Spence, even he kind of acknowledged that it wasn't a prime Errol Spence. Kell Brook, Amir Khan, Gamboa, like all these guys, Sean Porter even, like that. None of those guys were in their true prime when he fought them. And there is an argument that Canelo's not in his true prime, but this is for me the fight that does cement Crawford as a generational great. I really, and I think he's so talented. I do. Can he deal with the size? Probably.
Yeah. Canelo's not a big 168-pounder. All right, let's talk about this weekend. Richardson Hitchens versus George Gambosus, IBF super lightweight title on the line. What was it like, Ed, sort of promoting these young, brash Americans compared to the quiet English fighters that you promote? You've got quite a few of them now. You've done quite a few of them.
I really wanted to make this fight because for two reasons. Number one, I think that Hitchens needs this dance partner, right? Like he stylistically and from a profile and a build-up point of view, it enables Hitchens to talk his shit, as they say, and it enables him to fight an aggressive, talented fighter who has significant victories on his resume. Obviously, the Teofimo Lopez winning the same venue. And it gives Richardson a chance to make a statement in a high-profile fight. Flip it the other way, it gives George Gambosus an opportunity to create history and become a two-division world champion, probably one of Australia's greatest ever fighters, and to do it in the same arena, against all odds, against an American with a lot to say. And I've got to say, do not rule out George Gambosus in this fight. He's one determined. I remember when he fought Teofimo Lopez, I promoted the fight. We won the purse bid. I gave him absolutely no chance. He came in and he gritted his teeth and he dropped Teofimo in the first round. He got dropped later in the fight. He stood and he traded and he went through the trenches. Honestly, this guy's made a lot of money over the last few years. This fight, I know, because he's a challenger in the fight, it's got nothing to do with money. He has got the bit between his teeth to win this fight. And I'll tell you something now, Hitchens has got to be a little bit careful because I see the head-to-head today and, we've got media tomorrow, we've got the press conference on Thursday. He's yapping away. And I love it, by the way. I think it's great. But this is a kind of fight and the kind of stage where you've really got to control your emotions. And I rate Richardson Hitchens extremely highly. I put him in the same, ilk, if you like, as Devin and Teo and, Shakur's an extreme talent. But all of those guys, he's from the same mold. But this is it. This is the big time. And Gambosus is going to push the buttons all week. And if you come out wild, do you remember? It's exactly the same against Teo. They were at it all week. Teo came out in the first round, stood in the middle of the ring, traded up, bang, got dropped in the first minute of the fight. This can happen. It's going to be a really, really good fight. And also the co-main event as well, Andy Cruz against Mashiro, that IBF title. Everything's up for play now. Keyshawn going off the rails. He's gone. So the lightweight division wide open.
Eddie, we've known each other now for a few years. Mates, maybe acquaintances, sometimes.
Yeah, why not?
But you saw me taking the selfie in the bathroom here at the studio. Can I make one request, one favor, if you will?
Sure.
Can we stop fighting Frank fighters? I mean, can we, just for your own heart, can we just
can
we put a stop to this? I mean, it's hard for me to watch you go through this every week. Can
Honestly,
we stop? What's
Saturday, I can't even, I can't say I wasn't gutted, but I was so, the drama of Saturday was so incredible. It just left me gobsmacked. And just when you think you've seen it all, yeah. When I say this fight was one-sided, I mean, I can't even go into the conversations I was having with Frank Warren, but no one on that row gave Fabio Wardley 1% chance of winning that fight. Not from round 10, from about round 6. Right? And I'm sitting there, smug as you like, I'm joking to Frank Warren. I'm actually saying, God, I actually did think at one stage he was taking that much of a battering. Ben Davison, they might pull him out. And I was saying to Frank, "Hey, you want to pull your boy out here? I mean, it's so one-sided." And it was like when you've seen so much and you've been through so much emotions in the sport, when something like that happens, you're just like this. Oh my God. And I'm just like, and as you can imagine, 50 people are jumping all over me, pointing at me, screaming at me, "Have that, Hearn, shut your mouth, Hearn." And I'm just, and at that point, you've just got to soak it up. And I'm just going, wow. And I like Fabio a lot. We worked with him for a large part of his career. And I just, Justice Honey, 4 weeks notice. I just thought, I can't believe it was so easy. And it just shows you in boxing, particularly in the heavyweight division, you switch off, you lose focus for one second and it's all over. But I actually drove home just going, wow, I can't. And I remember laying down to go to sleep and my head was on the pillow and all I could just see was that shot again and again and again. And, but I got to say, it's why I love boxing.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to keep going, Ariel, in answer to your question.
Yeah. What's the record, by the way? Do you know?
It's probably it's something like 9-2.
Okay.
Or 9-3 or something like that. It's very wide. Very wide.
But
honestly, aren't we getting great fights, by the way? Aren't we getting great fights? I mean, we got another great one coming up. Anto Kakachi against Ray Ford.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
incredible fight. And I fancy my boy there. But Anto's on a great run. August 16. So we'll keep going. We're not giving up. But we're very excited. We got over the next 1 to 3 years, you're going to see a phenomenal conveyor belt of talent coming out of Matchroom. Even on the card this Saturday at Madison Square Garden, Adam Macka, 18-year-old world amateur champion, turns pro. Telma, our big Australian heavyweight, 7 wins, 7 knockouts. Nishant Dev, who's going to change the face of boxing in India. Zaquin Moses, Shakur's cousin, who's 18 as well. We've got some phenomenal talent, and we'll get him. Don't worry, Ariel. We'll get him. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that mentality. It wasn't all bad news this weekend. Following day, you did have Jio Paya with the big win once again, and it does feel like we are seeing a guy in his prime at the top of his game, fighting talent that is maybe not quite on his level. What do we need to do to get that Zurdo Ramirez fight? I know he's fighting June 28th on the same card as Jake versus Julio. That's the one, right? It has to be that one.
Yeah, for sure. It's, Badu Jack's the other champion, but I think there's going to be a rematch ordered by the WBC. But we really need His Excellency to pull up for that fight in Riyadh season, and he's given Jai some tremendous opportunities, but to lead to this. So I think you're going to see Jio Paya against Zerdo Ramirez, hopefully October, November time in Riyadh. It's a tremendous fight. Pound for pound, one of the best fights in the sport, and of course the best fight in the division. But yeah, they don't talk about the wins. Jai won. Beatrice Ferreira won. We placed her on the MVP show at the weekend, which was great as well. So yeah, we won 2, we lost 1, but of course the one was pretty painful. But for Jai, it has to be a unification next. I think this man's going to do big damage at heavyweight. I really do. Like, I think his timing to come up to the heavyweight division is going to be absolutely perfect. And I think he's getting better and better. I really do.
Ade?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to go. No, I thought you were going to go. Very quickly. I know. Sorry, I know we got a wrap very quickly. Most of the time, Dillian White. Again, it's not been confirmed. We briefly spoke about it. I almost feel like this is a big turn for Dillian White because he's now almost being fed to the sharks. He's never had this kind of process, right? He's normally the guy that's the favorite going into fights. All of a sudden, he's now taking on the upstart in Moses the Telma. A step too far for Moses or a step too late for Dillian?
No, perfect matchmaking for Moses. I mean, Dillian's a tough man. He's been so inactive over the last, 3 years? Comes in with no form or no activity. It's obviously a huge financial opportunity for him. And I think, he won't be going into the fight just saying, well, it's my last payday, but it might be, and I think he'll be going into the fight trying to win because he's a good fighter and he's a proud man. But it's just like you couldn't really get a worse style to come in when you've been out for so long. Like, some really fast young kid who has absolutely no fear. I mean, listen, if Dillian can take him 5, 6, 7 rounds, I think he could be a problem. But he's just going to get pinged by everything early doors. And yeah, it's a hard night's work. I would have liked to have seen Dillian have a little fight, if I'm honest with you, because I think it'll be hard to do himself justice coming back after that long against someone like Moses. But listen, one thing's for sure, and I've said this before, Moses has never fought anyone really near world class. But he's a phenomenal fighter. So it's not a case of he's never fought anyone. No, he's brilliant. But he has never fought anyone remotely world class. So it is a step up, but I think he's great matchmaking.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to this weekend. By the way, you mentioned Macka. He's going to come on my show tomorrow. And wouldn't you know it, your old friend Sam Jones texted me, hey, get me on the show. Get me in studio.
Oh, he's such, you know what? He's such a
can of piss, huh?
He's going to me, Eddie, are you in New York? I said, no, I'm not till the later afternoon. Oh, could you come on the Ariel show?
What?
I said, I won't be there. I said, he goes, can you go on there with Adam Macka? I said, I won't be able to go on there till later. He went, I suppose I'll have to go on. Like you haven't been touting yourself out, Sam. I know you.
He's like, what do I got to do? Who do I have to pay? No, that. By the way, that's a great move on his part. That was a very sly move.
Sam's he's a manager, but he's a great promoter as well.
He is.
He talks the guys up well, and Adam Macka's a phenomenal talent. I mean, look, Sam Jones doesn't always get it right. He's got a great eye for talent. And he's we work with a lot of young fighters that he's got, but Adam Macka is going to be a very interesting. You'll love watching him fight. He is all action. I mean, there's a real drive at the moment, isn't there, from fight fans particularly, to say we want entertainment. We don't want you giving up boring fights anymore. And trust me, with this kid, you haven't got to worry about that. He's a phenomenal talent, and just 18 and making his professional debut at Madison Square Garden.
Love it. Thank you, Eddie. Always a pleasure. Appreciate the time on this Tuesday evening.
Thanks, Ed.
Guys, take care.